Yo, what's up? So, today's message is from someone on Instagram, and she says to me, "You see, I need help, but I can't really talk about it. I try to find peace by burying it inside, but it's so depressing. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that can relate to what I've been through, who simply just can't talk about it and they can't be open with their childhood trauma. Uh, I'm sure one day God will free us from the miserable, shameful, and disgust we feel inside. And when the abuse is from a family member, it's hard to talk about it since it will destroy and damage the family, and I don't want to be the one who divides it." Right. I'm going to get straight into this because you best believe I've got something to say on this one. Okay. Now, first of all, a straight up response to that for this person and for anybody who's watching this who has a similar story where there's been abuse within the family and you're fearful about speaking up about it because you don't want to create a divide. That's not fucking on you. Okay? That's not on you. That is not a weight for you to carry. Straight up end story. Okay? Because the matter of fact is, your family should support you no matter what. That's it. Okay? Case closed. I should stop this video right here. Yeah? Your family should support you no matter what. All right? And if they support you, if you was to share that truth of yours, okay, fantastic. That's what really we should expect. Now, if they don't support you, by whatever reason they have, if they don't support you, I'm telling you right now, that is on them. That is a reflection of themselves and their own worldview and their own traumas. That's on them. That's not on you. Okay? I put this post out, I think it was a couple of days ago, and it just went viral. And it's that if you don't come from a supportive family, that's shit. It is. That shouldn't be your reality. But let's just say it is. If you don't come from a supportive family, then you best make sure that a supportive family comes from you instead. For your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids. Yeah? So you must really understand and accept, as hard as this is to hear and accept, is that if you've gone through abuse within the family, we're going to use an example now. Let's just say it's the abuser is Uncle Joe and it's your dad's brother. All right. And you can swap out the titles and whatever and make it relate to you if you have a story that's like this. Let's just say you was abused by Uncle Joe from the ages of 5 to 13, and it stopped at 13 because you was getting older and I don't know, you started to hit puberty and you were becoming a woman, and Uncle Joe doesn't like that, and it just stopped. Let's just say it's that. And let's say that you start to live your life and then you're 30 years old and that past keeps on coming back to haunt you, keeps on coming back, right? Those traumas keep on coming back. The fact that you're still living in silence is eating away at you, and it gets to a point where you're like, fuck this. I'm tired of my family loving on Uncle Joe, thinking that he's the best thing and everyone loves him, because I know that's bullshit. And that's not Uncle Joe. Behind closed doors, right? From the ages of 4 or 5 years old to 11, 12, 13, or whatever the age is, he done that to me, but no one knows about it. And I feel like I need to stand up and speak my truth. Right? Let's just say that's the case. Then you have the fears attached to that, which is, okay, but will my mom and dad believe me? Because this is my dad's brother. Like, are they going to believe me? That's the first fear. And then you have the fear of, okay, hold up. If they do believe me, what's going to happen next? Is there going to be some type of divide in the family? Is he going to kill Uncle Joe? Who knows what my dad's temper, or he's trying to protect me. Who knows? But what if they don't believe me? Then what? Are they going to say that I'm attention seeking, or I'm just making stuff up, or are they going to kick me out, or they, And then is there going to be a divide between me and my parents? But then if my mom then gossips to my grandma, and my grandma spills the beans to other people, and then is there going to be even bigger divide in the family because now everyone knows about what I've just said and they all think it's a load of shit? And what if Uncle Joe finds out? You know? And then you have all these questions that you have no answers to whatsoever. And then what happens is the fear within you gets bigger and bigger and bigger over these catastrophic potential realities that could happen. And the sad thing is that you shouldn't spend your time worrying about these potential realities happening because you were the fucking victim of a situation or series of situations where you was abused and assaulted by someone that should have loved and trust and protected you because they're a family member. That wasn't what happened. You know, and the fact that you then go on to live a life as a prisoner within your own mind because of that secrecy, because of that darkness, and then you want to break free from that, and then there's further fucking weight put on your shoulders because you're fearing of what your family's gonna think. Like, it's just, I just feel for every single person who is there, and because that shouldn't be the way it is, man. Like, it shouldn't be. You know, I do think in part, I think a family should create this sort of culture, this sort of thing, this vibe, this theme, this loving whatever within the family, where if something like that does happen, that the person, the victim, the survivor, doesn't even second guess whether they should tell their dad because they know, no, my dad's got me. Like, he knows I won't lie. You know what I mean? I think from day one there should be that, but you know, we can't always have what we want. We just got to deal with the reality of what is. And but that to one side, it does come back to what I said at the beginning, is that if you've gone through abuse and you're scared to speak up within your family about the Uncle Joe, you have to understand that you need to, for the first time in your entire fucking life, put yourself first. Because you, for the last X amount of years, you haven't put yourself first. And you haven't, okay? Accept that truth. You have not put yourself first. If you had put yourself first, you would have been in therapy, you would have told your family, and you'd be like, listen, I'm not seeking your approval here, mum, dad. I'm telling you what happened. Deal with it how you want to deal with it. This is what Uncle Joe done to me. He's not a fucking saint. He's a prick. He done this, right? He's a pedophile. He should be in prison. And I'm going to fucking do something about it. Whether you want to go to the police or that right there is you doing something about it, cool. You determine how you want to get closure and how you want to deal with it. And it's like, and if they don't believe you, like, listen, I'm not seeking your validation. I'm not coming here to try and get you to believe me. I'm telling you what fucking happened. That is what happened, you know? And then just release that weight that you've been carrying for so long. And if a divide happens, that's not on you. That is on your mum, your dad, your uncle, your grandma, your grandparent, your cousins, your siblings who decided to turn their back on you because of that. That is on them. They showed their colors to you, right? Not the other way around. They've shown their colors to you. And if it does get to that point, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does, all right, cool. Go and make yourself a family, yeah, where you embody what it's actually like to be a loving family, and then set a new pathway for the generations to come, you know? Because the alternative is, if you stay silent and you're fearing that, then it's like, well, if that is the reality of your family and they were to turn your back on you, then it's like, well, what's going to happen when someone else and also another thing, right? Another thing, and this happens a shit ton, is that when said person does pluck up the amazing warrior-like spirit to speak out and say, hey, this is what Uncle Joe done. Now let's forget the reaction of whoever within the family with what they may or may not do. But what happens a lot is that someone else would be like, Uncle Joe done that to me too. Uncle Joe done that to me too. Uncle Joe done that to me too. But they've all lived in silence because no one else has spoken about it. So therefore, it's been reinforced into the fact that they need to stay in silent, right? They need to stay silent because there is no conversation happening around Uncle Joe yet. And it's a scary thing to do, right? To be that person to speak up. But once you do speak up, not only could it give permission to other people within the family, because that's what tends to happen a lot, is within a family, it's not one person that gets abused, it's multiple. And it happens more times than it doesn't. Okay? It just happens more times than it doesn't. And I'm not saying that's necessarily why you should do it. If that's the thing that works for you, putting other people first in that way, then cool. Like do what you need to do to push yourself to the point of actually speaking up. But that is something that could happen. But the primary thing as to why you have to put yourself first for the first time after all of these years, okay, is because you deserve healing. You deserve emotional freedom. Okay, you deserve that. You deserve to live the life that you fucking rightfully deserve. Like you just deserve it. And when you're living with this silence, it's heavy. It's heavy, and you're constantly meeting around your family. Like, I wonder how would they react? And it's like, well, are they frauds? Are they horrible people? But you haven't necessarily seen that yet because they're your family, and blood is blood. Me personally, I'm like, listen, it's what's that famous quote from Godfather? Just because you're blood, it doesn't make you family. You have to deserve it. And when it comes to things like this, I think it's the absolute utmost truth. So, look, if you've been abused by a family member and up until this point, you just haven't said anything because you're fearing of X, Y, and Z reality, you will never know what that reality is until you do it. So whether that's today or in 30 years time or in 60 years time, and I'm telling you now that if you wait any longer and if 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years goes by, first of all, you might not even make it in 60 years time. And again, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I just spit the truth here and I don't sugarcoat it because it's toxic and toxicity leads down paths that aren't in your favor. Okay. But 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years goes by, and you do end up doing it, you do end up speaking out, I can tell you right now, you'll be absolutely amazed in the moment and you'll feel free, but you'll also in the back of your mind be like, fuck, I wish I'd done this sooner. I wish I'd done this 30 years ago. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. It's not. Don't ever think I'm telling any of this, saying any of this is easy, because it's not and it won't ever be. But the alternative is always far worse. You don't want to be living in silence within a family that wouldn't have your back anyway. Rather be out and proud and take control of your life, have that freedom. I'm telling you right now, you won't know. Hold up. I'm lining this up for a banging quote, right? Made this up on the spot. Okay, hold up. Shit, did I forget it? Hold up. You don't know how much you're carrying until you've released it. You don't know how much you're carrying until you've released it. All right? Trust me. So, hey, and listen, if you're watching this and you're going to do it and you want to talk to someone, message me. I respond back to all my DMs. Sometimes it might take me a while if it's in an outbox. I haven't seen it yet, but 9 times out of 10, I respond back to all DMs relatively quickly. So if you want to talk about this further and you want advice or whatever, just drop me a message on social media. Okay. Or you can do a post inside our community that's listed below this video. There's plenty of people within our community that has been down a similar path that just has a support that you need. But what I will say at the end of the day is that you have the power within you. You have the support within you to do this. Yeah. The fact that you made it through what you did and you're still here today is enough proof for you to know that you can go and do what you need to do and what you're fucking shit scared of doing. You can go and do that. Many people have been through similar to you that aren't here today. And you are. So you can do it. It's going to be tough. It is. But the alternative in the long run is far worse. Okay? So just remember, it's not on you. It's not. Never was. Never should have been. And it never will be once you make the choice and the decision to be like, you know what? It's not on me. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to release it. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to call up my mum or call up my aunt Sal and be like, hey, this is what happened. Just telling you. And that's it. All right? You're a warrior. Okay? If you're going through shit, just know that you're a warrior. And we got your back. I hope that helped.